Hey guys, Kyle here with the Mortgage Celebrities Studio. I'm here with Steve Murillo. He's with JMS Home Improvement Pros and Construction Pros, two separate companies. But thanks for coming in today.
It was a pleasure. I appreciate you having me, and I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, well, we already kind of got to talking outside and then we couldn't stop talking. So we kind of wish we were recording all that. But you were telling me a little bit about your background, and I was fascinated by it. And then we just got right into talking about kids and how fun it is to, family and how fun it is to raise them. But tell me what you were telling me outside. So you're not necessarily from the Lehigh Valley. Can you tell me about your background a little bit more?
I got the two of the best worlds, I call it. I am American. I was born in Jersey, Plainfield. And my mom separated from my dad when I was around 1, 2. And then she sent me to Costa Rica to live with my grandparents, actually. And she stayed here working for a little bit. So I consider my grandparents my second parents at this point. And she went back when I was around 8, 9. And then she had a stepdad, which was a partner, which was my stepdad, and they decided to move to Canada just for another American Canadian dream, I guess, let's call it. So they went to Canada, they started working random jobs. I started going to school, to Catholic school, actually, which I was telling you in Canada, and that school specifically, I think it was a private school, but I heard other schools as well, they teach Italian, French, Spanish, and English, which I found it amazing. So I know a little bit about. I can understand Portuguese just because of all those language combines.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went back to Costa Rica when I was around 12, 13. Went to high school, met my first girlfriend ever, just to remember. And I promised her I was gonna bring her to America, but guess what? I left when I was 17, 18. And I never went back. Sorry.
She's probably watching now.
Yeah. So yeah, and then after that, I finished high school here. I've been jumping from job to job, typical teenager, trying out different things from warehouses to medical to restaurants to call centers, offices. I've done health insurance. I've done it all, which I thought it was a curse back in the day because I was jumping from job to job, but now it's a blessing because all that teach me customer service, sales, being an estimator, being a professional. I have all the best of all the businesses that I observe, and now I can bring it up to my companies.
Wow. And, that's pretty awesome. I mean, it's such a diverse background, and it's kind of fascinating for somebody who grew up in a different state than the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. Myself, I moved here. It feels like, I didn't feel like a fish out of water, but it's definitely a different culture than, say, Baltimore. But like growing up, New Jersey, Costa Rica, Canada, then when you went back to high school, you said you finished high school here. Was that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, right here in Bethlehem Liberty High School.
Okay.
I ended up graduating there, and I went to Northampton Community College. I tried Lehigh College for a little bit, but college just wasn't for me.
No.
I went for web development. I'm very into software and stuff like that, computers. And I remember there was an old teacher teaching me like the matrix 1110111, how to make a website by binary numbers.
Yep.
I was like, I just go to Google and make a website in 5 seconds. Like, I don't need to do all that. So I guess I was just a little prideful at the time. I was very young. So I stood up one day in the middle of the class and I said, I'm out. And I left. And I'm actually happy, now. I mean, I would have loved education, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm actually grateful now for the experience. And now I'm a multiple business owner, and we made a couple million last year. So I'm just super blessed and grateful at this point, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think, looking back, I did a whole 4 years in college, and it was in sports management. So I'm here doing mortgages. I spent all that money, and I didn't do anything in
time too.
In that. But it did teach me how to finish something that I started and do all these other things,
right.
And it made me appreciate, because I was going from school to work. So I was 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. school, 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. work, and then home. And I was driving to those different places. And I remember being like, man, I can't wait for that one day where I go to one job. And that's all I have to worry about. It's just that one job. I don't have to worry about leaving. But yeah, I mean, those life experiences that you go through at the time that could be hard, definitely you look back as like a blessing.
you learn from not your own mistakes, but from every situation. I mean, discipline. College, like you said, teach you a lot of discipline, how to be consistent, how to be dedicated, even if you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
It's just something.
Yeah, and especially like I remember thinking back to like math class when my teacher would be like, you have to learn how to do this longhand rather than the calculator because you're not always going to have a calculator. And I remember thinking like cell phones, like we have a calculator with us at all times. And this was, I mean, I grew up when, we had flip phones and like I was in high school, I think, when phones were really starting to become popular. But I always knew that I would have a calculator nearby, and her trying to have this argument. But so you finish high school, go to college, that doesn't work out. You said you had a bunch of different jobs. When did you start? I guess what made you start getting into the home improvement slash construction contractor type field?
That's a great question. So it was actually a video about gratitude and water. Yeah, everybody's
Okay.
face go like that every time I mention that. So I used to be a security officer for Allied Universal. I was working for Kellogg's at a warehouse. And I was just sitting there, basically wasting my life away for $13 an hour, just staring at a screen and not doing much. I thought it was the best job because I didn't have nothing to do. But then I found purpose, right, later on. But I was watching some videos. I've always been very smart, been very in tune with nature, with spirituality, with myself. And I felt very uncomfortable at that time, personally overall. And I was in search of all these new medicine videos and spirituality things that are coming out. And I found a video about water and how the air is water, you're water, I'm water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a few experiments that they did. Like they put some venom inside a capsule, they put it in a bottle of water. The venom never touched the capsule. I'm sorry, the venom never touched the water. But they took it out 3 days later. They looked at it in the microscope. The water was fine because it never touched the venom. But they gave it to rats and the rats died. That's the power of tell me who you're with and who you surround yourself with, and energies transmit. In Spanish, there's a phrase that you say, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres, which means tell me with who you're hanging with and I'll tell you who you are. So everything kind of clicked in my mind, like some fireworks after I watched that video. And I said, you know what? Being grateful. The whole point of the video was to be grateful, because if you say thank you, if even if you don't mean it, let's say you say thank you to your hand, your blood circulation, your blood flow starts getting better. I said, what? That's like, that's like literally
Yeah.
shifting the world little by little. So I started just being grateful overall. And then an opportunity opened to me, which I found online. It was about assembling furniture on Walmart. There's an app called Handy now. It's will be Handyman. You can select your own schedule, and you can go to New York, New Jersey. You can go to China if you wanted to assemble a product that people purchase at Walmart. So I started assembling bikes, furniture, chairs, stuff like this here in this office. People, it was like $100 a pop, which back in the day was a lot to me. And people started asking me, the same clients started asking me, hey, Steve, do you know how to paint? Steve, do you know how to do other stuff? I said, of course I do. I'm very resourceful, right? Um,
Did you know how to do all that when they
of
asked you?
course
Okay.
not. I didn't know how to
And if
do
you're just saying
shit.
yes.
Well, in Costa Rica, you got to be a little little handy.
Yeah.
My grandfather teach me a little bit of carpentry, just small stuff all around. I used to be very helpful in the house, so that made me, and I'm very smart, like I said. So I just put some YouTube videos with my abilities, and boom, I know how to paint.
Yeah.
And then I was painting houses, and then it started progressing little by little. They started asking me for small to medium jobs. And then eventually I was able to hire a crew of professionals that knew what they were doing. They were doing it longer for me. They were already equipped with all the tools and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I just started being now the estimator salesperson. So I'm just providing the service to a client with a company that has a bunch of other team members that are capable of doing it. So little by little start growing, literally from assembling furniture to now we build homes, which is incredible. That was 2 years. Our
That's
first year, we made a couple 100,000. Second year, a couple million. Third year, which was technically last year, we made over $2 million overall revenue, right? But I think I'm just very proud of that because I come from jumping from job to job before that. Watch a video about gratitude and then making a few million dollars out
Yeah.
of nowhere. So for me, it's impressive.
That's huge. I mean, spirituality, gratitude. There's something to that, and we in our meetings we talk sometimes, but you are the sum of the people you surround yourself with, and it's so true. And you could try to make all this change in your life, even if you want to, but if you're still surrounding yourself with the same people, you're gonna fall into those bad habits, whether it's a diet, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But gratitude is something that everybody can practice, everyone, and because there's always stuff for us to be thankful for.
So many.
And with everything that's being advertised, you always think there's better this, better that. If you're scrolling through Instagram, you'll see these pants or these shoes that you like. You can't afford them, whatever. But there's so many more things that aren't materialistic that you can be grateful for. And the sick man, or what is it? The healthy man wishes for 100 different things. The sick man wishes for one.
One thing. I love
Yeah.
that phrase. There's something that you said, you can't afford it. Also, how I speak, I changed. You can afford it, just not now.
Yeah.
So positive thinking and positive words in general, like I dislike the words no problem. Why are you saying no and problem? There could be a problem? No.
Yeah.
Just say you're welcome. Say of course, I got you. Anything besides negative stuff. Little by little, I started doing that, and I can attest, and other people on YouTube as well can attest that that really changes life. So
Anybody ever come up to you and say, Steve, can you just stop being so positive today? I'm not having such a good day.
I mean, sheesh, I feel like that sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I try to convince myself like today's a good day. Today's a good day. There ain't no freaking good day today. Today's
Yeah.
a horrible day, but that's okay. I'm just gonna still be positive. Shit, we'll go through it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love the message. And I found you through a friend of a friend, and you came highly recommended to talk to. And then the first thing I did was I Googled, your company. And, there's a lot of home improvement, a lot of construction companies out there, and most of them don't have very good reviews. And your company had glowing reviews, which shocked me. But now, knowing that you have a computer science background, you may have manipulated something. No, I'm kidding.
I wish. It's hard, man. It's actually very, very, very hard, and I'm very blessed. Once again, I'm very grateful. I had a lot of bad experience. I just tried to get sued a couple weeks ago by a client that we were doing the kitchen because she wasn't happy with the work.
Really?
It can happen. I mean, we're not perfect. Only God is perfect, right? And He made us imperfect, so is He that perfect?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's super, super hard what we do, from assembling a table to painting a room, whatever it is. God bless contractors, because it is really, really hard. It seems easy, sure, roll your paint, but I'm pretty sure y'all painted before. It's a mess. And I'm just talking about easy stuff like painting. Imagine building a house, or with all the requisites here in the United States, all the permits that you have to get, all the codes.
Yeah.
Everything is very, very sophisticated. So I'm just truly blessed. I mean, I think what differentiated us from another company, and I tell my clients all the time, I'm a consumer myself. When I buy something, I like to buy or get exactly what I paid for or more. I'm very picky. I'm very luxurious. Thank God I'm blessed to be able to. So I offer the same to my clients. If I offer you something, you're going to get just that. If not, I'm paying out of pocket for you to get whatever you got. Customer service, dude. It's customer service.
Yeah.
And I learned that everywhere else. Here in America, they're very tight with customer service because competition will eat you up.
Yeah.
So
Do
I
what you
respect
say
that.
you're going to do.
That's
what
it.
it comes down to. If you think it's easy to do, anything with contracting, just cut a little hole in your drywall and try to patch it. I challenge you, and paint it and make it look flat.
That's like the hardest, right?
It's so annoying.
It's super hard. The dust everywhere.
Yeah, it's not fun. But so in your company, so you've been a company for over 3 years now, is what you're saying?
Yeah, 5 years. The 2 years I started small. The 3 years I've been going hard. Yes.
Okay. It's so gratifying going back to the furniture building because, in mortgages, our stuff isn't very tangible. Everything's kind of money transferring in the background. When you take out a loan, you don't see necessarily, you pay the money every month, but usually that comes out of a digital bank account. So like everything's very much on the web. I know real estate is one thing, I don't really go to the houses or do any of that. So there's a part of me where I'm envious of some of the experiences that you have, because you get to see from beginning to end you could touch it, and
Yeah.
it's such a good feeling to see the finished product. And I want something to be like that when it comes to a mortgage, and I do go to my closings to be there with the clients. I give them a closing gift, and that kind of is the point of return.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to do it, to build the furniture, to build a house, to do a deck or whatever, the satisfaction of completing it. I mean, does that cross your mind?
No, absolutely. Now that I am the estimator and the salesperson, I'm not doing that anymore. So guess what? I'm in the office stuck, kind of just like you, and that is, I think it's something about being a man that you need to work with your hands. It's very, like you said, rewarding, very
Yeah.
purposeful. So sometimes I go out of my way just to go put some nails, even though I'm not the best at it now because I'm not constantly practicing like the actual contractors that are
Yeah.
doing the work. But absolutely, there's something very, very rewarding about doing doing work with your hands, man.
Yeah, I mean it's cool in general, because if you're a guy who does not work with their hands like me, and you see a guy like you who does work with their hands, there's some sort of like, that guy's kind of cool. He can build stuff, and for me, it like you said, I mean, watching YouTube videos is the way that I find everything nowadays, and the way that I do everything. But as soon as there's a bigger job, I call the professionals, because like either I don't have time or whatever. It's not even something. It's a skill. It's something. It takes 10,000 hours to learn and to do, and that's why when you
To
got
maintain as well.
yeah, and when you got when you started your business, you realize, hey, I'm just going to hire these professionals that have been doing this forever,
Right.
that have the skills that I don't have to do the job that I can't necessarily do.
Time is a big thing. A lot of my clients said, a lot of retired old men, they contact me like, Steve, I know exactly how to do it. I can do it. I just don't have the time because I'm spending with my grandkids or I'm working if they're not retired yet, which is a big understanding because, it takes time. And also it's not usually a man's job. I send my team, even for a one nail, one light bulb, they have to change 2 people because sometimes they got to grab the ladder. Sometimes it complicates. You need to hang from the ceiling. So 2 people is usually necessary. And that's why pricing is a little excessive sometimes, I used to think. And now I understand completely because all the insurance, all the tools, all the equipment, all the experience, the continuity, the
continuity.
continuity. Thank you, of how constantly they are working. Like you said, it's not only about experience; it's maintaining the experience. Because I used to know how to spackle the wall perfectly. Now, if I try it, I haven't done it in like a year or 2. It's like the skill can go away. So.
Yeah. So in owning a house, there's obviously a lot of remodels that you can do. What are some trends you're seeing right now as far as remodels go?
So for summertime right now, 2026, a lot of patios, decks. People love being outside, like especially because we've been constrained by this winter, long ass winter.
Yeah, for
For a
sure.
while, everybody wants pavers, Trex, which is composite material for their decks. They want gazebos, a lot of gazebos. Um, a lot of walls, like fences, retaining walls, like a lot of modifications to their backyard, which is completely understandable. People in your business, as you know, people are not selling as much or buying as much right now. So everybody comes to me and say, hey, Steve, I would love to sell this and go buy somewhere else. But right now, because of the market, I'm staying with my house. So guess what? I'm just going to take a loan and invest in my property. And I'm calling you and I'm trusting you to come and hook up my backyard so I can make it nicer for me, because right now it's hard for me to find another spot even though I want to, and this house is worth $1 million, but then every other house just like this is worth 2. So
It's true, and I see that a lot now too. Well, we get people calling us for lines of credit, second mortgages, to take out money out of the equity that they currently have, because a lot of those people have this built up equity because they've been in the house, and then so they call somebody like me, they get the loan, and then they call somebody like you to do the improvements. How many people do you say, like what percentage do you think are financing their improvements that way when it comes to the big jobs versus like paying cash?
the question, I think, is about almost half and half. More people pay cash. Well, not cash. They want to pay with their credit card. So I guess it is financing.
Yeah, it is. But
Yeah.
usually, if you're looking at a credit card, you're probably not exceeding like 20 grand, I would say.
Right. Well, most of our projects are medium, $20,000 to $50,000 projects, bathrooms, kitchens, exterior, stuff like that. Major additions go over 50.
Yeah.
Like if they want to add a sunroom or something like that, it goes usually over 50. And we do a few of those. A lot of people are doing that as well. It's actually a very good trend right now. Sunrooms,
Sunroom.
additions, expanding once again, improvement and expanding their property right now because they can't buy anywhere else, even though they wanted to, and they're stuck to the Lehigh Valley. Or they're stuck to the area because of work, because of kids. Same like us, basically.
School. Yeah.
School.
So you're seeing a lot of outdoor remodels. When people ask you for a quote, so I know I purchased a house about a year ago.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And we needed to get the basement finished right away because we have 2 kids. The house, needed that extra space.
That's a big one on the.
It was expensive, and it came. I have a friend who's also a contractor. I didn't want him to do the work, so I was like, I'm going to get somebody else to do it. You don't mix friends and money a lot of times. So yeah, so I was like, I'm going to get somebody else to do it, and he told me what to expect with the quote, and the quote kind of came back where I expected. But I could see how people would be, kind of taken aback. So where is the disconnect? People see the price of lumber, then see like the cost of the materials, but why are people shocked when they get this bill?
I love this question, and that's why I use AI to help me degloss a quote, to go into detail with the quote. Because some contractors say, put drywall, put insulation, put flooring, done. It's like, why is it $100,000?
Yeah.
So I go and take my time, and besides putting drywall, I use AI to really help me entail how much feet, what exactly goes in drywall, spackling, 5-level finish. So my quotes, even if it's for one hole on the wall, it's usually like 5 paragraphs long, and it has a disclaimer at the bottom. So it can explain the profound amount of work that goes into it, covering everything, covering the floor, the plastics, the lumber, if we need to put a block in the back. There's way more than people really expect, and I understand. I used to be that guy. I used to be charging $100 to do all that work, until I realized I'm losing money. It's way more than people expect and that I'm expecting, and this is a skillful work that most kids nowadays are not doing. Actually, a lot of retirees are sending me their work. A lot of contractors that are retiring, they're contacting me. Hey, Steve, I'm closing the company. Can you take some of my clients? So we're very abundant with work, thank God, because we do great work. We're young, we're motivated. But nowadays, people want to be in other areas like, easy money, which is AI or offices and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition there. God bless them. But so yeah, the disconnect is in that, man. It's a lot of money, it seems like, and it's a lot of work. It is like.
Yeah.
So people just want to know, why is it so expensive? So I love how I break my quotes. I want a quote. When I get a quote from a company, because I subcontract some of the work as well. I hate when they say drywall, installation, floor. It's like, what? How much drywall?
How many nails? How many screws? Yeah.
I need to know what if, is this area covered? Is the little closet in the back covered? I talk about every nail to the dot, how on my estimates. That way you know what you're paying for.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, the guy that did my basement, that's what he wrote. He wrote drywall, he came highly recommended. I trusted the person who recommended him. He did a great job, but he's old school, like you said. And if you're doing a renovation or rehab loan through a mortgage, if you're using the mortgage to do it, a lot of times, specifically a 203K type loan, a lot of times they're going to require what's called an itemized estimate, which is going to break down every screw that you use, every piece of drywall that you use. So the fact that you deliver that, number one, is better for people like me on my end. But if you're spending all that money, you want to see what it's being spent on. So if you give a quote that is now $45,000 for that finished basement, and that person balks at it, and then they go shop and they get 2 other quotes, but those 2 other people don't do the itemized fee worksheet and they're even around the same price, you took the time to break it all down for them. You sat there and explained it to them. They have the written estimate as to why, and you just seem more put together. And I'm sure you encountered that.
Yes, I love that feedback from my clients, because a lot of people say that, Steve, you actually came over other quotes, but I'm still going to go with you because you took the time to break it down. I trust you because of how you look, how you act, and how you do business, which they only even seen an estimate by now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very appreciative of that, though, but that's all with intention. I during my years, I paid a few business coaches to really help me master the art of selling. And I also worked at AT&T, which I was a top number one bilingual seller for cell phones and tablets. So I learned a little tricks and tips.
Yeah.
And it's all about emotion, dude. It's how you make the other person feel.
Yeah.
If you make them feel comfortable, heard, respected, love, integrity, stuff like that is kind of common, but it's not common nowadays, which is great because it's easy for me. But for some people, God bless them, but some people are having a hard time just with common sense. So emotion is really where it comes into. I go in there, I always cover my feet with some shoe covers right before I walk in your house. Even if it's dirty, I don't want to be the one dirty, scratching your floor.
Yeah.
So little small acts like that, I think, is what drove my business to be so blessed and so abundant as of now, because everything matters to me. I always make sure my team has shirts. They're always clean. They're always, even though most of them are Spanish,
Yeah.
they speak a little bit of English. Doesn't matter. You always look at people in the eyes. Like I have to tell them, new people that I bring, look at people in the eyes when you speak. Shake like a man.
Yeah.
Things like that, I think, really have an impact overall eventually. And
no, it's true. I mean, I see that. I've heard comments of that from, people that I know, like, oh, they only speak Spanish. So, there's almost like a lack of trust if they don't speak English. And it's like, why? And
Well, I understand
I don't
why.
have that feeling, but there's a sect of the population where they're like, no, they should be able to speak a little bit of English.
Let me give you an example, Kyle. I understand them completely. Let's say 3 Chinese people walk in here, you don't understand what the heck they want. You're gonna be like, what are you doing here? And let's say they were hired by me to fix your wall. Doesn't matter they're Chinese, Spanish, or I'm just giving an example. You can't understand them, dude. You're trying to tell them that the wall is going this way, and they're putting the wall this way. So it's
important.
It's very important. So I'm always in the middle for my clients, and usually my project manager speaks enough English to understand everything. But I used to think the same way, but now I completely understand. It's trust. Because, you're doing business with people you trust. It's about emotion once again.
Yeah.
I wish a Costa Rican guy came and hang out with me for a while because I understand them more. It's not about racism. It's more about connection.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good point.
I mean, if you think about the different jobs that you do, I lost my train of thought. I was trying to, because it was along the lines of what we were talking about with the Spanish speaking. Oh, we'll move on to something else.
So tell me about you a little bit, actually, if that's okay. I want to know
remember what I was going to say. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I might come back to you.
Yeah.
How many contracts do you? So tell me about your business, and do you suggest contractors? If you sell a house, do you have a list of contractors that help you as a referral? Do you have trusted people? How do you find contractors? You say you. Well, I have another question regarding the contract that you used for your basement. You said he came referred, but I heard that story before, and he's still messed up.
Yeah.
Do you check his Google reviews? That's what you said. Google is very important because 60 some people that said Steve's great or Steve sucks.
Yeah.
It really matters instead of 1 or 2 friends that said, he's good.
So I work with a reputable builder in the Lehigh Valley, and a lot of people, after they get their house built, they have questions about the finishing touches, like finishing the basement, adding the deck on the back, doing the patio, the stuff that the builder either wouldn't do or people believe that the builder's going to charge more for.
Okay.
So when they ask me about it, then I typically try not to get involved as much because I don't want to refer somebody out that's not going to do a good job. So I typically either will give a couple, hey, I know some people who have used this person in the past.
Right.
I can't give you like a recommendation, but here's a list of some people. If it's a friend, like I do a lot of mortgages for friends and family. If it's someone like that, I have no problem being like, hey, look, this is who I use. Use them, don't use them, I don't really care. As far as the gentleman who came referred to me, I saw work that he did. So I saw somebody else's basement that he finished. I physically went over to that person's house. It was actually my real estate agent who was like, they did my basement for me. Come check it out. I'm having a pool party and, come over and just see what he did. And then you can see if you want to use him. But he's got no Google reviews. He strictly relies on word of mouth. He tells you he's going to be there on a Thursday. He's going to come on a Friday. And it's just like, it's one of those things. But which I'm still waiting on you, Dan, to come over and finish the deck, by the way. And he knows it. But yeah, so, and then the word of mouth thing is fine to me too, but I don't think that he has the ambition to grow past where he is now. And so he'll never care about those Google reviews. And he's just past, I think, that point in his life where that matters. He's on the other end of his career rather than,
finishing.
and he's fine with where he's at. He makes plenty of money. He does a good job, and great guy. So, but for you, like having the technology part of it down along, because that's a big disconnect, I think, between the your side of the business and everyone else, because the consumer is online. So if there's someone out there creating interesting Instagram videos as a contractor, construction company, home improvement company, I mean, that's golden.
Google works. So I spend $1,000 in advertising and marketing. And I learned for contractors, or at least for me, what worked is Google local ads, not Google ads, Google local ads. It's the best return investment I had. Then after that, I found a few foreign Indian gentlemen that have some techniques, which I'm still learning, to obtain leads. And they really helped me more than Yelp, Angie's List, Thumbtack, all these other ways to spend money on things. And something that you brought up, which triggered me a little bit, was you said growth. So my ambition was to grow my business to nationwide. But after a few years, I noticed that it is very hard to do so as a contractor. Maybe as a builder, but as a contractor is hard because you have to manage every project, especially us, because we do everything. We have a plumber, which is not our company, but he is a sub for us. So we are actually contractors. Or I'm a contractor. I sub out the work, most of it.
Yeah.
So to manage all that for one person, I mean, I have to have a big association, which I tried as well to have a project manager, that and that. So I really wanted to grow nationwide, but then I ended up noticing why I want to grow so much if I'm making a lot of money in a small niche. The smaller, the better. I thought the bigger, the better before.
Yeah.
But in my area, my situation, I found out real quick that, the more trucks, the more insurance, the more tools, the more they break.
Yeah.
So might as well have them have the insurance in the truck, and I just get a percentage of the work. I just basically supervise. And also I use Jobber. Have you heard about Jobber?
I think I have.
It's a CRM.
Yeah.
Like Hotspot, and there's a bunch of other ones like Service Titan. Jobber changed my business. When I started using Jobber, I was making like $400,000 a year, until up to 450 to be exact, until I started using Jobber. When I started using Jobber, it changed.
What does it do for you?
Mostly, besides everything, it does communication with clients. Well, like you said, he's going to be here on a Thursday. That's when I thought about Jobber. I have an automatic message to the client saying, hey, I'm on my way. This is Steve with JMS. I'll be there in an hour. I don't even have to send it. I can send it if I want to. He gets an automatic email. Hey, this is Steve with JMS. I just want to thank you again for the business. I'm so excited to see you on Thursday, blah, 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 blah. When the job is done, thank you again. Is there any feedback? Here's the invoice. It makes the transaction so modern and so easy for the client, dude.
Yeah.
That I love that. Once again, I don't want nobody with a paper. I don't want to sign. I'm the type of guy that if I can save time, I appreciate it. So I like to make my business the same for my client. They send me the bill. I'm going to pay that anyways. Some contractors just want to pay right now. I understand why, because some people don't pay.
Yeah.
I had people not pay before, which is a whole nother story. But
so I remember what I was going to ask before. Not ask, but it was a comment, because I had somebody out recently for landscaping, and we had 3 different landscaping companies out, and one person spent like an hour and a half with us, just like dreaming up different stuff, and you could tell how knowledgeable he was. Definitely not the cheapest. Right. Definitely the one we went with, because they spent the time. And there's so many times that I can reflect back in my business where it's a Friday night and my kids are around, and I'm trying to get off the phone quickly, and I'm not spending the time with the client, and I just got to go back to my kids, got to go fix dinner. I rush through the conversation. That client moves forward, but then ends up going with somebody else. And you look back and you go, man, that's on me. That's a reflection on me, because I didn't spend the time with them that I should have. So going back to kind of what we were talking about before, like just the fact, the itemized report and everything, like it's so, people do want a quick, fast, painless experience, but that's at like the rest of the process. I think the beginning, they, like you said, it's emotional. They want to be heard. They want you to take the time. And if you do that, even if it doesn't matter what's going on in your day, like you could be having the worst, but if you take the time to talk with them, that's going to change their view of you forever.
You're absolutely right on that. One of my favorite phrases is availability is the best ability. Because when you're available, and it sucks because I have kids too, and I think establishing a schedule is very important. But picking up a phone call for a new client and taking the time to just sit and listen, I dislike when I call businesses and they don't pick up and they don't even call me back.
That's
to
the
me,
worst.
I'm never doing business with you.
Yep.
So for me, I don't even want it to ring. They should have a secretary. They should have somebody to pick up, an AI at this point at least. So even if I'm busy, I'll take a moment, go to my office, go to the bathroom, if I'm in the park, I just go walk away, give me a moment. Just take the time. Hey, listen, thank you for calling JMS. This is Steve. How can I help you? Yappity. Sure. But everybody got problems. We're here to fix them. Let me schedule an in-person estimate visit. At least take the time, like you said. I love that once again. And yeah, you want it fast, but what we do is it got to be done right. So it's not really fast. It's just smoothness. That's the right word, I think.
It's funny. You and I could probably go back and forth with different sayings, but here, we talked about availability being the best ability, but doing the things that take zero talent. And so like picking up the phone, being on time, or like today, you were running a few minutes late. You texted me and said, hey, I'm a couple minutes. But like the little things, like rather than just showing up and be like, sorry, it was a doctor's appointment, it ran over. And we would understood. Yeah, communication, 100%. But like you get an email and it's this long email saying all these questions. The first thing I do is respond, hey, got your email. Yeah, I'm working on it. Get you an answer soon. People love it because they understand you've heard them and then you're going to get to them. It's just setting proper expectations.
I like that, man. I like we have the same values because, once again, communication is super important. Transparency, integrity, and availability, once again, to me is super important. That's what brought me here, honestly.
So to kind of put a bow tie on this, your company comes highly recommended. We hadn't met before today. I'm glad we met. This has been a great conversation. I think we're going to do this again because I want to talk more on the business side of things, maybe more the trends that you're seeing, some of the stuff on that, that world. But where can people find you? Where can people find your company? How can they reach you?
We're all over the Lehigh Valley. It's a lot of yard signs everywhere. If you see us around, that's just for not even advertisement. That's more for presence. But we're online. All the social platforms, the main ones: Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. We're on X. We're on Google, which Google is number one nowadays. You Google contractors near me, and we usually the second, third that show up just because of our reviews, and we're very grateful for that. So yeah, I mean,
is that where you think you get most of your phone calls from?
That's exactly where I get most of my phone calls. I always ask in my my calls. I always ask, hey, quick, where do you hear from us? How do you got in contact? Google search. Sometimes referrals, of course, word of mouth helps, but Google. I'm keeping track of my leads now to see where should I invest my money in marketing, and Google, especially local ads when it's paid for, they have sent me hundreds of thousands of millions.
Yeah, because I mean, I know there's Thumbtack, there's Angie's List, but like Angie's List you have to pay for, I think, and like
local businesses, local ads as well. Google local ads you have to pay like $50 to $100 a click.
But if you have good reviews on Google, you don't have to pay for that. You get pushed to the top with the amount of reviews, the recent reviews.
Yeah, that's partially how it works, but not only reviews. You need a good SEO, a good website. You also need good photos. There's a whole algorithm.
There's an algorithm, right? Yeah, but the good reviews help a lot.
Oh my God!
We've experienced that here. We started getting a lot of reviews, and the more 5-star reviews we got, we would start getting phone calls just from Google, from people. I just Googled. I asked AI who was the best local lender, and it would put out our name because of our Google reviews.
It makes a whole difference. It makes the whole world difference. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And is there anything that you guys say is your bread and butter that you specialize in? Is it all of it, or like if you had to tell people that you needed this one thing, what would you say?
So I've been discovering once again that small is large, let's say it that way. Repairs bring us more money than big remodels because they're less complicated, take longer, it takes less in this case.
Yeah.
And it's still talented, so the profit for us is better. But I understand, since we're a full home service and commercial as well, property improvements, we try to come to an agreement for everything for our community. That being said, we're doing a lot of bathrooms, a lot of kitchens. we prefer renovations instead of remodels, but we are focusing on remodels as well because it helps the community a lot for new patios, new decks, roofs, siding, windows, things like that. So, yeah, I mean, the bread and butter at this point will be bathrooms, but I personally love for the ROI is repairs and renovations.
Cool.
So,
Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I really enjoyed our conversation. I love your outlook on everything, and I hope that we could do this again. And if you come on again, I hope we can do that.
Kyle, it's been a pleasure, man. I
Hey, it's been
appreciate
a
it,
pleasure,
brother.
Steve. Thank you
so much.